Masigla ang Happy Family School of Excellence dito sa Upper Thomson, Singapore dahil sa mga batang Pinoy. Nagsimula ang eskwelahan bilang homeschool noong 2015 na binuo ng accountant na si Ninalyn matapos bigong maipasok sa local school ang anak niyang si Gabriel. Sa Singapore kasi, limitado ang slot sa public school para sa mga dayuhan dahil priority ang permanent residents. Di naman kayang tustusan na maraming OFW ang international schools na hanggang 2,000 Singaporean dollars o 75,000 pesos ang tuition kada buwan. Nagsimula si Ninalyn na sina Gabriel at kaibigan si Keisha lang ang estudyante.
Nag-create kasi ako ng happy parenting group para at least like to support group po ba na sa mga Filipino parent. Sinabi ko sa kanila yung, ganito, we can do this.
Ngayon hanggang grade 3 na ang itinuturo sa eskwelahan. May higit 70 estudyante, 6 na guro na ang 2 ay Singaporean at kumpleto ang pasilidad. Bukod sa science, math at English, nagtuturo rin sila ng Filipino para di malimutan ng mga bata ang sariling wika. Ang tuition, 500 Singaporean dollars kada buwan lang.
Education is very important, especially at this age, because it's the foundation years. So if any break there will definitely affect them in the future years.
How important is this school to you?
Like 100%.
Nag-apply na si Ninalyn sa Ministry of Education ng Singapore para makapagturo hanggang grade 6. Pinapaalalay naman ng Philippine Embassy ang eskwelahan sa Commission on Overseas Filipinos.
Kailangan punuan ho dahil siyempre may minimum requirements din ng mga eskwelahan dito. Sa mga buildings, may safety requirements. Dapat makipag-ugnayan ulit sila sa amin, mapag-usapan kung paano.
Yung goal kasi ng happy family is for them to be together regardless of the problems, the challenges.
Nag-iikot na rin ang Department of Education sa iba't ibang bansa para matulungan ng Filipino schools pero batid ng DepEd na mas matindi ang problema ng mga isinamang anak ng undocumented OFWs na hindi makapag-aral dahil walang dokumento.
There are more and more of these young people who go abroad and come back radicalized with totally different perspectives about our system.
Kasama rin sa mga inaayos ng DepEd ang pagbubukas ng alternative learning system sa mga migranteng Pinoy na di nakapag-aral o undergraduate. Sherian Torres, ABS-CBN News, Singapore.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Happy Tuesday evening to everyone out there. This is Miss Dinah Geronimo, your host for tonight. Yes, welcome to HFSC TV. And I'm so blessed and happy to be invited to be a guest co-host, or I would say a guest host for tonight. And I am just so happy to be with these two wonderful ladies with me. Yes, so you could see their beautiful faces. Hello, Miss Joy, Miss Alex. So of course, I'll do the honors. I want to introduce both of you. Maski po, kilala ko na po sila. Yeah, they are very close to me because we're working together in HFSC International School. So let me start off with this beautiful woman. Okay? Wow, beautiful talaga. You guess kung sino sa yung dalawa. She's a mother to a very talented 8-year-old girl. And she's a very passionate teacher with 10 years of experience providing diverse learning for preschool and primary school students. And she strongly believes that the integration of music and arts are helpful tools in supporting a child towards academic success? Oh, medyo particular siya sa academics. Yeah. Of course, kasi educator, no? So let's all welcome Miss Alex. Nakamute yata si Miss Alex.
Ako. Hello? There.
Yes.
Good
Hello,
evening
Miss Alex.
Good evening, everybody. Yes, thank you for that wonderful introduction, Miss Aina. And I'm happy. I'm really happy, and I'm glad to be here. And hopefully, I could be what's this? Of good use to share my wisdom. Wisdom. Yes. So good evening po.
Yes,
Good po sa inyo
words
lahat.
of wisdom. Yes,
Yes.
thank you, Miss Alex. We will definitely look forward to all your words of wisdom kasi ang dami kong question. Ang dami kong list. Mahaba ang listahan. Yes, and so, of course, I mean, it's an honor to introduce ang laging host ng ating HFSC TV for the past Tuesday nights. Now, this time, of course, we want to hear from her as a speaker, as a designated speaker, kasi very interesting po yung topic natin tonight. So let me introduce, she's homeschooling her 2 kids, and she's also working as a special education teacher of HFSE, and she's a licensed occupational therapist in the Philippines. And ako, ang dami nito. Ang daming credentials ni Miss Joy. She completed part 1 of sensory integration and praxis test certification. She also has intensive training on social thinking, applied behavioral analysis, verbal behavior, brain gym, and integrated play groups. Wow, ang dami nito. So definitely, let's all welcome Miss Joy. Miss Joy?
Hello! Nakakatuwa. For the last 4 weeks, ako ang host, ngayon speaker.
How does it feel to be a speaker this time and not the host?
Hindi ako makalusot.
All right. So,
Akala mo, ha?
yes, we have 1 full hour of learning, okay, of learning about this very interesting topic. Now, let me just review what we have covered last Tuesday. All right? Ako po, nanood ako, and I'm so glad to hear the words of wisdom ni Mrs. Mandia. Yeah, I was quite impressed with her personal sharing. And one thing about resilience, right, that struck me on a personal level is that it's okay to melt down, or it's okay to let the children know that there is a problem. Yeah. I mean, that's very striking because I realized na oo nga naman, may punto si Mommy. Kailangan malaman ng mga bata, ng mga kabataan, that life is not a bed of roses. Life is definitely a roller coaster ride. Definitely there will be challenges, there will be problems. And just like what we are experiencing right now, we are in this global pandemic. So a lot of things changed, and we are facing all this new normal, right? And so for me, as a mother of 3 children, and iba-iba po ang stages nila, no? I have a secondary 1 son, I have primary 5, and primary 1 girls. Okay, so imagine nyo po, iba-iba ang kanilang stages. So I was just trying to reflect now that we have learned something about how to teach our children to be resilient. Okay, how about teaching them in terms of having this positive learning? Okay, so nung nalaman ko yung topic, sabi ko, oh, it has a wide scope. Positive learning can mean it could just be academics, or it could be just the environment, or it could just be about positive parenting. Ang dami, di ba? Malawak yung sakop ng topic eh. So for now, my very first question, Nax, parang nasa beauty pageant tayo, is probably one of you can help define what is positive learning. If we talk about children, okay, children po, yes.
Okay.
Pero before that, Okay? Pwede po tayong mag-acknowledge muna ng ating, wow, ang dami po pala nating audience. Oo
Yay!
nga, masyado akong I was just so taken aback and so excited about the topic. Yes, hello to
Wow!
Ma'am
Thank you.
Crisabel Campo. Yes, and of course, si Caitlin, the yes, the only child of
It's my
Miss Alex.
daughter. Way to
Yes,
go!
very supportive. We have Miss Darling Villamor, Miss Norma. Hello, hello
Hello
from the
po. Good
Philippines.
evening.
Yes, sino pa ba ang mga nandito? Oh, we have Jessica Roque from the Philippines. Of course, Miss Jans. Oh,
Mommy
madami pa.
Jocelyn.
Miss
Mommy
Myra is here.
Meds.
Yes. Oh, ang dami pala. Si Miss Meds.
A mom to be, Mommy Cat. Miss
Miss Sulu is
Lucille.
here. And Mr.
Hello,
Brian.
good evening po.
Yan. O, dami raw. Galingan mo daw, Miss Jocelyn. Nanonood kami. O, di ba? Okay, so now that
Oh,
we
Miss
have
Lulu also tuning in.
non-Filipinos watching, I guess we need to speak in English. All right, so I'm not prepared for this. Okay, so
We have
let's
to have an English only
yes,
policy.
yes. So let me do a recap. So I was just saying that last week we were talking about resilience. Yeah, and I just shared a few of what I have learned from the speaker, Mrs. Mandia, that it's okay for parents to let the children know, okay, that we are not okay and we are facing challenges. And with that, we will be able to be more effective in teaching our children about life and for them to become stronger and to find solutions to the problems. And because of that, because from that topic of resilience, we should now be talking about positive learning because if the child can be resilient or become stronger in facing all these challenges in life, definitely it has to start from positive beliefs, from a positive mindset. And how do we derive or how do we achieve that? It's through a positive learning experience. And so, my first question I was just about to ask these two beautiful ladies, what is positive learning? How do you define it?
Okay, I think I will answer first because I Google it. No, no, no. Actually, positive learning. When you hear about that, it's not really a specific approach. Like unlike those what is applied behavior analysis, what is verbal behavior, what is social thinking, or what is uh, integrated play group. So it's a different scenario because positive learning it's a very general words wherein it comprises of different ways to come up with how are you going to be positive to the child. It includes like creating a positive environment, creating having a positive attitude towards the students, and creating positive results from the students. Like how are they going to see the learning process in a positive way? So basically there's we can have our own definition of what of a positive learning. So that's what means to me by positive learning. So when you were mentioning about resilience, our topic last Tuesday, resilience, because the main goal of that talk was to how are we going to spread positivity despite the pandemic, right? So this time, since we have learned about how are we going to spread positivity, so we have the positivity in ourselves, and how are we going to share it with others, specifically with our students, and not necessarily with our students, but also for our children, for our own children, right, Miss Alex?
That's right. Thank you, Miss Joy. So, as for me, when you say positive learning, the learning, it says it is really related to education. So,
Mhm.
does education really just stop inside the classroom? Education doesn't, end in the four corners of the classroom. So when you say positive learning, it is when you have a positive relation towards everything. Because when you approach everything with positivity, you tend to learn, you tend to look forward for more learning opportunities. And there are so many strategies that we can apply. Well, as for me as a parent, and as an educator. So I remember a few weeks before when we had that learning opportunities talk. Do we need to spend a lot? No, we don't. But there are so many things that we could do to instill positivity, because when your child or when a student has that in love for learning or positive learning, everything everything is, the opportunity is limitless. So we have the tools, okay, and we can learn more tools whereby we can apply for our children, for our students, and for our own kids. So yeah, excited for that topic today.
Thank you so much, Miss Joy and Miss Alex. So the keywords I've been hearing from both of you, of course, is the word positivity. And I think I'd also like to emphasize on the word learning, right? And where Miss Alex tried to narrow it down to education. And then from that education keyword, now you mentioned something about the tools that are available. Okay, so before we probably touch on the different tools or the practical ways on how to be able to provide, or to instill positive learning among our children. I just like to share something which I have been thinking about before we start this Tuesday night. Yeah, before we start this talk. Um, I was just thinking that to be able to provide this positive learning experience among our children or among our students, I'm thinking of our role as parents. Yeah. It's
Mm,
like saying that, for example, if probably there is a job ad, a job posting saying that wanted 24 by 7 operations. Yeah. And someone who will be able to nurture, okay, the client which is our children in
yeah.
different aspects. So we have the social, emotional, cognitive, and even the physiological needs. Then
Mm-mm.
I am thinking in that line that I think this positive learning, okay, experience or this role starts actually from the house, from the home environment.
Yeah.
And we are just so blessed that both of you, aside from being educators, are actually parents. So, Miss Joy, you have two children. Miss Alex, you have your única hija.
Yeah.
Okay, so now my next question is, how do you, okay, how do you manage, okay, being an educator in school and at the same time being a parent at home? How do you apply that positivity? Okay, I want to hear it maybe more on a personal level,
Yeah.
you as an individual, because I am always hearing about, when Miss Alex mentioned about the positive relations, it's more like the positive energy, and when you have it, then you attract, that energy which is conducive for positive learning. So you as an
Mm-mm.
individual, being an educator and as a parent, how do you apply that in your daily living?
Okay. You wanna do it? Which one? Okay, personally, it is okay. First and foremost, as an educator and as a mom, siguro ano to, this is a disclaimer. Um, I am still a mom and a work in progress. Okay, our goal is to have that positive approach. Now, I think as a mom of an 8-year-old who has different demands in terms of, educational and um but since there are so many demands of my 8-year-old. In my role as a mother, there are different hats that you need to wear. Sometimes you can't help but to to mix those
Mm.
roles. And sometimes you have I needed, okay, it was just quite recent that when you are a parent, I have to be a parent. Sometimes the roles or the tools as an educator doesn't really work in your home. So for example, I can easily discipline 20 children.
Mm.
Okay, because of disciplining 20 children, it is more feasible, and
Mm.
with the flick of your hand or with some words, you know that it was taken positively by your students. However, that doesn't apply right away, okay, when you are a parent. Okay, there
Well,
are
that's very true. Yeah, because
right.
the students will have a different approach when they are not in their home environment. I've heard of stories
Correct.
like that. Yeah.
Yes, but how are you going to tackle that challenge? So as a mom of my beautiful 8-year-old, I have to it is a conscious effort in my end that, oh, my child is already thinking. My child has the skill of reasoning. And
Mm.
sometimes when she reasons out, it comes out as disrespecting. So as a parent, I have to be conscious that, wait, she is trying to state a point. She is trying to express herself. Now, how are you going to tackle that? I am merely stating the disciplining part. So it has come to me that, oh, my child wants to express herself, to validate that, oh, her feelings are was this essential. So for me, I have to have that conscious effort that, hey, listen to her, accept
Mm.
her, and
Mm.
respect her. Yeah,
Yeah.
even if you are at the height of your emotions, you have to step back and breathe and say that, wait, maybe she has a very valid point. So,
Mm.
but it's a challenging approach. Sometimes, as an educator, wait, but I'm the right one. I'm the right one. You have to listen to me. When you're a parent, it doesn't work that way. You really have to pause and breathe and listen. And that's one thing that I want to share with everybody. It's challenging. Hindi po madali. It will take lots, and until now, there are still, it is still it's not a walk in the park. It could be a Jurassic Park. Okay.
So there are
Yeah, it
dinosaurs
happens.
out
I mean,
there.
all
Who is
moms
the
of
dinosaur, the
every
child or the parent?
yes. However, being a positive parent, it doesn't mean that it's going to go smoothly all the time. It's just that conscious effort, that in that respect, to hear your child out.
I
So
like
that's
that,
what.
Miss Alex. Yeah. Thank you so much. I like that. I like how you put it that we should, because as a mother, yeah, I like how you shared it and how you emphasize about having that conscious effort to listen. And I was just thinking, as a child, I was just recalling my experience that when I am being heard or when my parents were paying attention to what I wanted to say, I felt accepted and I felt, a positive feeling when my mom would be paying attention to what I had to say. And I also have seen that in, especially my youngest, Daniel. Yeah, there were times when I could not really pay attention to her
Mhm.
and she would feel hurt. And I could see that through her body language. But for those times that I tried to you know pay my full attention and listen to every word she said, then she was like really so happy and
Yes.
she has a better mood. So she did not fight with her elder siblings. So thank you so much, Miss Alex, for pointing that out. Yes, and I agree with you that all of us are a work in progress. Even though we want to be, 100% positive all the time, of course, it will not be perfect. Yeah, because anyway, nobody is perfect. Yeah.
That's
So Miss
right.
Joy, would you like to add something? Because Miss Alex, I think she was more on the listening, right? The listening and the conscious effort. Yeah.
Effort.
How about
Yes.
you, Miss Joy? How do
Um,
you manage being an educator and a parent at the same time?
I think for me, because I think I have shared this with when I had the balikbahay talk talk when I discuss about homeschooling your children, the benefits of homeschooling your children. Because ever before I have my own children, I've been teaching children with special needs, and of course I have learned a lot and a variety of approaches to students. If the student is like this is your approach. If the student's behavior is this way, you try this approach. So for me, when I had my own children, at least maybe 80% of the time I was able to apply what I have been, how I manage the behavior of my students when I was still working with my children. But the I think the not so good thing about that is because I had a hard time um putting a boundary whether I am yeah, whether I'm a therapist or I'm a mom of my kids.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it's more difficult for Miss Joy.
Especially for no, especially for ASL because he's my firstborn, right? So when he started to say no, I got very frustrated because I'm teaching my students before that you're not supposed to say no to me, uh so I even raised that up to the pediatrician. If you remember, if they have regular checkup, the pediatrician will ask you how is he. So that one I raised with the pediatrician, and then I said I get very frustrated because he kept saying no to me, and the I think that the doctor felt how I feel during that time, and then he said, just remember that you are not his therapist, you're his you're
Yes.
so, so
And
that's
so guilty po ako dyan. Di ba?
the struggle I
Parang
have.
oo, yeah, it seems like, yeah, it's
Yeah,
quite difficult, right, Miss Joy, Miss Alex?
yeah. But then,
Oo.
of course, since Miss Alex has mentioned that we are forever be a working in progress. So there are times you learn about you've learned a new way on how you're gonna manage, because especially having two different attitude, different personality, different behavior, you have to be really creative on how are you going to manage them in a different ways, because you cannot always say like, how come I didn't experience this with Acel, and you are Sarah, you're very naughty, something like that.
Comparison na.
Yeah,
There
there's comparison.
will happen, but then of course, as what Miss Alex also have mentioned, you need to be really receptive to their needs. Like, for if they can only reason out, like, I'm not Kuya, I'm not my Kuya, I'm Sarah, something like that. So so those kind of things, and eventually you learn how to manage uh, their behavior. You have to learn how to deal with their personalities, different personalities, and yeah, just keep learning, positive learning also for the parents.
Exactly, exactly. I was just about to say that also, Miss Joy and Miss Alex. It seems that it's not only the children who are learning along the way, it's us.
Yes.
We
That's
actually learn together with them. Yeah, ako as a mother, I am guilty because sometimes I also commit mistakes. Sometimes my approach to my teenager is no longer
doesn't
valid,
work.
for
Mm-mm.
the approaches that I have implemented or done for my two girls. I realized, oh, he's a teenager, so I should be respecting his space, respecting his opinion and choices. Yeah,
Correct.
so I like the way Miss Joy said that, yeah, yun, to be receptive to their needs. I think,
Mm-mm.
to be receptive, uh, it sounds so easy to do, but in reality, it's not. Because for us, right, we're so busy, we have so many tasks to do, so many commitments to
Correct.
fulfill, but to be able to be receptive to each of our children's needs, I think that's one of the biggest challenges. To be consistent and to
Mm-mm.
be able to always make them feel loved, and how should I say it? To be able to meet their love language. I'm not sure.
That's
Have you
right.
have you encountered that book, The Five Love Languages of Children?
Nope.
Um,
I
I
didn't
don't
read
see
the
that.
book, but I know the five languages of love. But I
yeah, but
didn't.
among married couples, right? Yeah, I read that. But there's also five love languages for the children,
Oh,
and I realized that yeah, we should also be able to identify in that particular stage in their life what is that love language that we need to fulfill. And so I want now to be maybe give the floor to both of you
Okay.
in terms of ta 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 ta. What's the next question? I would like to encourage the audience. If you have any burning question out there, please share it with us. Yeah, because we have our two lovely ladies who will be able to share their personal stories and their insights, yeah, as educators and parents. Now, I just like to acknowledge Mr. Gary Kakananta. Positive approach plus positive approach equals positive results. There you go.
Yes. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
thank you
I
so
also
much,
want
Sir
to
Gary.
say
Maraming salamat po. And I'd like to acknowledge my pamangkin. Hello, Casey. Casey from Marikina. How are you? Thank you
right.
for supporting our talk.
Some of
And there
my
is Miss
mommy
Cheryl
Cheryl
Wong.
also. Mommy Cheryl, hello. How have you been? So maybe I want. Sorry if I just may add, Miss Dinah. No, as a parent who also faces challenges with disciplining, and whether that question is, am I doing it right, am I doing it wrong, it will be ingrained in you. But when you have that support, okay, in terms of disciplining and positive learning, it you don't rely on yourself. You have your tools, you have your network to guide you, whether to assess you whether you doing it right, can it be done better. So it's like a self-assessment tool. You don't pile everything on you, or because you have so many hats as a parent, you have so many hats to wear. And if you have that support from our spouse, from our whoever is living in the house together with our child, we can tap on them, and it's healthy. It's like a validation that, oh, it really takes a village to raise a child. And use those tools because that is for the benefit of your child. Now, as an educator, it's like this. I have to look after one class. I cannot do it alone. Let's say I have to go to the toilet, or I have to really get something for the children. I really need help. And it's okay to ask help. And whether you can also ask the people around you, you're outside your bubble, how can I improve this method, how can I make it more positive, in the event that, oh, maybe I am shying away, I am not that positive anymore. So like I said, they can be, or the people around you can be your assessment tool as well. So I hope that helps.
I agree with Miss Alex about it takes a village to raise a child. Yes. So we parents are not alone. Yeah, I
Mm-mm.
think that's the key word. We are not alone. There will be those support. There will always be that support from our loved ones. But my next question is, what if some of our loved ones are the negative ones? Ah.
Wow.
I mean, it's natural, right? There will be
Yes.
instances where even though we try to always provide that positive approach, instill positive mindset into our children, but especially probably those who were raised up in sort of a negative environment, or
Environment.
probably they had gone through a lot. Yeah, so
Mhm.
how do we manage that now to be able to balance out? Miss Zoe. Miss Alice, I could see Miss Alice doing this.
Uh, so of course, at this time when we are dealing with the children, and then we see other people dealing also with the children negatively, because as much as we want to deal with their children positively, of course there will always be other people who will come along and will not go with the way you want your children to be disciplined. you know um, um, even when I am not doesn't have to be particularly with my children, because for me, because I'm the boss, here. So if I want if I want my children to be disciplined like this, I will tell my husband, and he needs to know that this is how I want to discipline them, and he
This is a
understands.
different
I mean,
approach.
luckily because also an OT. I mean, at least he has an idea on how to manage children, children's behavior. So he had experienced that when we were in the Philippines. So at least I mean, for me it's easier to deal. Let's say, for example, he's starting to go against my way. I will just make a signal, like he knows it, and it's the same with him. If he's the one who started the conversation with the children, I have to back off. But then sometimes, of course, we are not perfect. Nobody's
Yeah.
perfect. Sometimes I can't stand away, so I have to really intervene with them. So
Mm-mm.
basically, if I'm gonna be talking about my own family and how I deal with the children. I could say it's easier for me. But then, when dealing with other children, and then their family or other family members who are, let's say, for example, let's go straight to the point. Grandparents, especially grandparents, they grew in a different time, very very far from our
Strict.
generation.
Yeah, or corporal punishment is a
Yes,
norm,
Yes,
yes,
yes.
right.
right?
So those kind of things, some they believe like our parents can punish us, but the grandparents cannot punish their grandchildren, something like that. So they love their grandchildren more than their own children. That
Yes,
happens, right? So
that's
they.
typical. Yeah.
I think Miss Alex can relate to that. Nana Fe, hello, Nana Fe. You cannot.
I am blessed that my Nana Fe is positive towards my daughter.
Yeah. So we need a lot of Nana Fe. But then of course if you go against Nana Fe's the way of dealing with children,
Disciplining.
that's what Miss Alex shared with us before, then there's gonna be a world war, I guess, worldwide three. But then I have to be honest, I have to tell the family members that we need to be consistent. We need to be
Mm-mm.
consistent. We need to this is how your children's gonna benefit from this approach or this way of learning. Then we have to be consistent, because that we are teaching the children our children how to cope up with challenges. But then if someone else gonna tolerate a behavior, especially an unacceptable behavior, it's okay, just let him, he's just a child. It
We have
will,
to address.
yeah, the child will have this feeling of, also have this feeling of confusions, like who am I gonna listen to? Or of course with
Mm-mm.
children, if they're in a certain stage wherein they're having, like the psychosocial development, they're still having confusion or trust or who to trust with. Of course, they will trust those who will give whatever they want. You know,
Yeah.
they will love those people who just give into whatever they want. They try, the other people give. But then we need to be really careful with that. So the only thing we need to do is to have the courage to explain to them. You have to have the courage to explain to them that this is what their child needs. This is what our children needs. Then you have to be consistent. Yeah,
So
we
you
So
have to
we
be at least
consistency, that
aligned.
means, yes, so
yeah
there should be alignment,
Yeah,
communication,
correct.
consistency. Yep.
And then
yeah.
sometimes,
Mhm. Also, although we, let's say for example, as a teachers, we have different style of teaching the children, right? But of course, if it's, let's say, this approach of a certain teacher is very effective to this class, maybe the other children can also adapt that kind of style because someone is has been arriving, to a good result out of the class, then maybe this other teacher can also adapt
share
that style.
it. Yes.
Yeah, so let's say for example for me, I can tell, I can say that Miss Alex love doing arts and craft. Maybe I could incorporate arts and craft in my class as well, even if it doesn't really need arts and craft, let's say for example in math. All right. So yeah, so those kind of things. There's actually a lot of ways on how to deal with. It doesn't really have to be negative people, but then maybe someone who's they have their own opinion towards
Yes.
the approach that we're trying with the students, with the children. But of course, yeah, you've mentioned about communication. It's very important, communication as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let
We
me
have
stand
also,
corrected. Thank you so much for that, Miss Joy. Probably there will be instances where, those people close to us or those who have a direct influence to our children may have a different point of view or
yeah,
a
Yeah.
different perspective. Yeah, maybe that's a more positive way of saying it.
Yes.
Yeah, let's apply it now. Okay.
and sometimes we also have to validate them, whether what is the source of that negativity. Like we said, positive learning doesn't stop to our children. It could also be applicable for those who handle our children, our students. So it's an opportunity to see that, oh, if it could have been done better, then let's be courageous enough to discuss that. Hey, maybe this is a better approach. Maybe this is a mistake for now, but we can do it. We can improve it next time. So yeah, maybe we just have to be aware also of their input, and to be respectful and be the positive light, um to make it a more pleasant experience, a learning experience for all. So there.
Yeah. After hearing all your insights and some of your experiences as a teacher, it helps me recall one of those talks that I was tuning into. Yeah, I forgot the name of the speaker, but I I was so struck by her sharing that you know our influence as parents and educators have a direct influence to how the beliefs of these young minds are formed. So
Mm-mm.
it means either they will be developing positive beliefs, for
Mm-hmm.
example, that I am loved, I am accepted, I am confident, I can do all things,
Yes.
versus the negative beliefs whereby there is more fear or there is something like a low self-esteem, like when I hear children saying, oh, I cannot do it, no, I gave up, no, I don't want to try again. So these are the impact to our children. So as young as they are, I think even as young as they are here in our womb, we are
Mm-mm.
already having that influence to them, probably on how we were caring, during our pregnancy, and how we are dealing with our colleagues or in the work environment and even in the home environment, it has already an impact to that young mind inside our womb. So imagine that, right? It's just right there, and we
Yeah.
have a direct influence. So now I'd like to move to the next question that I have. This one is something that probably you might be surprised. So why did Miss Dinah ask that question? Okay, Miss Alex, Miss Joy. Yeah. Remember in school we provide grades, right? We do have some sort of rating system among our
Mm-hmm.
students. Yeah. So this time tonight I just like to ask you, if you were to rate yourself, if you were to assess yourself as a mom and as a teacher, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, how would you rate yourself? And this is in the aspect of being effective in teaching positivity to both your
Okay.
children and the students.
All right. Two perspectives kasi. You're teaching your own child, and then you're teaching the children as a class. And for some reason, based on experience, I think teaching a class is easier for me. So I'm going to rate myself at around 8.5. Okay, there's still
Wow.
area of improvement. Yeah. It I take pride. I take pride with my class, and the activities that I do for my class are really heart. Yeah, I work with them from the heart. And as a parent, I rather should rate myself as 7.5 to 8, because I know for a fact that like I said, I am still a work in progress as a mother. And I am conscious, and I could still improve in terms of disciplining my own. Sometimes it's easier to say that, oh, walk the talk. But
Hmm.
as a mom, we know what to do. We know the right things to say. We know that what could possibly make your child to be on the same page. But sometimes it just doesn't happen.
Right,
So
right.
there are different branches, there are different experiences that I can still learn. So yeah, I am rating myself at 7.5, right there.
Yeah, still a high rating. And I would like to congratulate you, Miss Alex. Yeah.
Did
Because
I?
it takes a lot of um self awareness to be
Yes.
able to rate oneself. Yeah, because I think it takes a lot of self awareness to be able to
Mm-mm.
know yourself, how effective you are doing your role as a teacher and as a mom. Miss
Thank
Joy,
you. Mm.
Miss Joy. Maybe Miss Joy from 100 being the highest.
Yes.
Wow. Na. Of course, we as same with Miss Alex, we have to live. We cannot make it perfect. We will never make it to 100% because generally, whether you're a parent, a student, or um, a child or a wife, nobody's really perfect. So there's always a certain point that you cannot really get. So, but then for me, I think I could say both teaching and as a parent, I could say like maybe 8 to 8.5 because I think I base it on the result, just like what Mr. Gary mentioned earlier, like positive thinking plus positive approach is equal to positive result. So I think I'm basing it on the result of how do these children feel towards me? How do my children feel? How are they now? For me, it gives me it makes me feel really proud of myself if I bring my child out, we go to the party, we go anywhere, and then people will praise them like, oh, your children are so well behaved. It's like, oh no, they're so well behaved. Oh, of course, of course they are different outside and inside, but of course
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
that.
natural, Miss Joy. I can
Yeah.
relate.
But of course, what is really important is how are they going to behave outside with other people, towards other people? How are they going to apply? They have what they have learned from my training here in the house when they go out. Just like what we always say, train your child. Just like what I always believe, there's a certain book that I always share, like train your child and be glad you did. Because we want to make sure that before we let them go to the world, they will not go apart from what we have taught them.
Yes,
So
that's
I
very
could
true.
say, and I hope they're still very young, and it will still be encountering a lot of different people, different kinds of people, different environments.
Experiences.
But
Yes.
yeah, they will be going to different places. They will still learn from other people. I cannot, which I would not be able to have a control with anymore. So as what we have starting now with HFSC, which is the young starters, start them young, something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that is basically what I'm trying to base my grade. That's my
Oh,
grading system.
Yeah.
Of course, when
Yeah,
you take
because it's always good to be assessing ourselves, right? Because
yes,
we know
true.
what are the milestones we have achieved and we
mm,
know what else can we improve. What else
yes,
can
That's
we,
true.
do better. Yeah, so
yes.
I think that's why I asked how would you like to rate yourself? Thank you, Miss Alex and Miss Joy. That's so
Yay.
wonderful. And we have one from Miss Diane Margaret Maglipon.
Hi.
Wow, she's saying we love Miss Alex from Team Lorenzo. And Miss
Hello, Ma'am
Joy,
Dayan.
yes, while you were speaking, Miss Joy, Miss Norma Villamor, Miss Darling Villamor was doing this. Yeah, applauding to your sharing earlier. Now, I would like to go to another point, which is I think very crucial in instilling positive learning in our children. Since you are both parents and educators, do you believe that school parent partnership is very important? And how do you think, what are the practical ways that we can do to achieve it?
Okay. School parenting is very important because that's also a relationship that you need to build. Okay. This is very crucial. If you have the trust of the parent, of the child that you are educating, you can have that, you work hand in hand, and you can have that positivity just between the two of you. What is the result of that? Okay, if the child of this teacher and the parent of this teacher, they are honest to each other and they know that their goal is to uplift the child and groom the child to the best that they can be, then it is a good partnership, which I truly support. So, what are the things that as an educator do? I am very honest with my PTCs. If I know that this child can improve in a certain area, be it in writing or reading or other skills, then I have to be upfront to the parent to say that, hey, can we work this out? And how to work this out. So let's give avenues or maybe exercises on how to really uplift the child. And yes, building that relationship is very crucial, and I support that.
Thank you, Miss
Miss,
Alex. Yes, of course, Miss Joy.
Same. Joke lang.
It's like dito, dito.
Yeah. For me, yeah, of course, it's the same thing. It's very important because we are a team. Just like when you were working in a medical field, just like from our training, when you work with a child, not it's not only the teacher who will work with the child. It has to be with the parents. Also, let's say for example, for me, speaking as a profession who works with children with special needs, when we do normally OT, occupational therapy session or behavioral therapy session, takes 1 hour per week. I mean, particularly OT. Usually they do 1 hour a week. So I'm very straight to the point to the parents. Like I can tell whether you follow up or not. I'm spending 1 hour with your child in a week. It's just a waste of time. It's just a waste of money. It's just a waste of energy if you are not going to follow up at home. That's how I speak to the parents of my children, because I want them to realize the importance of working together. And I also, when the child comes back to the session after 1 week, and I can tell that the child master a certain skill or have learned this new concept, I will also praise the parents, not just the child. Like, oh, very good. You know how to sort the shapes now. But then after that, I will tell the parents, "Oh, mommy, daddy, very good. I know. I can tell that you follow up at home because you know
There's
I don't
improvement.
there's an improvement, there's a remarkable progress on what we are working with the children. So we really need to be just like what Miss Alex mentioned. We need to be really honest with the teachers. Where do they stand, and what's the status of our children when it comes to what's the status of the student when it comes to a certain level of skills, so that they can do their part. Yeah, we do our part, they can do their part. And yeah, so it's really, really important. And it's actually hurting for the teachers, for the educators, when some parents they are very how to hindi ko alam yung salita, hindi ko alam English. They will diretsuhan na. They will
Ayun,
tell you
straightforward.
very straightforward to you that, oh, that's the reason why I put my child to the school, for them to
Yeah.
learn. So it's very hurting because like uh, what to do la, parang ganon na. You really
Yeah.
your
It's
part
really a
as well.
partnership, eh. It
And
is,
that's
it really is.
precisely, yeah, that's precisely why the home environment is where a child will first learn. Yeah, it's
Mm-mm.
always the home environment. It is the first
Yes.
learning environment, and
Yes, yeah.
then followed by school.
By
So
the
that's why I
by the
agree with both of
environment.
you. Yeah, parent-school partnership is really crucial in molding these young minds to have a positive mindset and be able to
Correct.
learn effectively. Yeah.
And just
Um,
Miss Dana, just want to add also, and dealing with the parents and parents dealing with the teachers actually also require positivity. We don't expect the same way of communicating to a certain parent to this parent. So, oh, this parent is like this. So this is how we're gonna talk to her so that she will understand you better. But don't talk to this mom like the way you talk to the other mom, because she won't. So
exactly.
we need to also adjust our own approach to different people. Same with the parents, like we cannot say like, oh, why would Miss Alex, let's say Caitlin is
More
doing this,
progressive.
with Miss
Yeah.
Joy.
And with that, let's gain points of view.
Yeah, yeah. Again, yes, that's very important. We really need to, yeah, we really need to
Yeah, that's true.
respect the each point of view of
Correct.
different.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
I agree, I
It's
agree.
different strokes for different folks. Same with the
Oh,
children, different strokes with different children, right? So we should
correct.
be fine tuning and adjusting our approach. And
yeah,
I think what is more important to remember is that when we instill this positive learning experience among our children, is whether are we giving those positive feelings in them. Because I think when it comes to developing their social, emotional aspect, it should always be positive. Yeah. So I believe as a mother of three children that it is my role to be creating all these happy, positive memories with them, so that when
Mm-mm.
they go out in that world, and they will always remember that, oh, I remember mommy has taught me this, and I remember all those happy memories with within the home and even in school. I think that that's something that we all want to achieve. And thank you
That's
so much, Miss Joy, when you mentioned about, yeah, even the parents. I think we have a crucial role in how we approach even our teachers. Yeah, because it's always like you as a teacher, right? But me as a parent, I believe that we as parents, we should also be respecting the teachers of our children, right?
thank you.
So it's always a two-way street. It's not just one way, right?
Yes.
Mm. So we
So
will.
we have Miss Sulu saying, "Keep going, ladies." Well, Miss Sulu, it's because of you that we are speaking straight English. We were not ready for
Something
straight
else is
English
moving.
tonight. But thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, thank you so much, Miss Sulu, for the support. And Miss Len Flores Mendoza, I agree with Miss Alex and Miss Joy. Yes,
Thank
one of the
you.
fellow teachers. And of
So
course, Miss Asha Shamrat saying hi, Miss Al. We have Miss Charms Cambao, Miss Dana Valderrama. We also have the support of Miss Jamie.
Phoebe, oh my cousin Phoebe, Miss
All right.
Lucille,
Miss Lucille, hello. Miss Jill, hello. Miss
hello,
Mami Isa Kanko, yes, they're all here
hello, Mommy
watching
Isa.
watching us tonight. So, do you
Yeah.
have any parting words, Miss Joy and Miss Alex, to impart to our audience when it comes to instilling positive learning among our children?
Okay, so for me as a parent and as an educator, let's keep building that relationship. It's never too late. Maybe there are ways that we think that, oh, I should have not done that. Those mistakes or those you think that I should have not done that this could have been improved this way. So let's keep that relationship with our own children. Let's respect them. Let's continue to understand what they need and continue to validate their feelings. Actually, at the end of the day, what they just need from you is your smile, your attention, and that genuine love. And the moment that you push them in that way, yeah, I'm thinking of my daughter right now, and the tears might start rolling. Hello, my dear Caitlin. Just keep telling them that you love them and you are there. Hmm. Tissue.
Yes, tissue, tissue.
Yes. Okay, as a parent, just continue to know that your love is sufficient for you to build that positive learning and attitude, or how should I say, journey for your own child. And it also applies for my own students, for your own students. If you are an educator, tap on your heart that you are there because you have that mission to build this child up. So even if you're a parent or as an educator, tap on your heart, and that heart will really lead you where it should be. So, and with faith. So yes, I hope this helps, and those are my parting words. Okay.
But we have
Yeah.
a pahabol question, Miss Joy
Oh.
and Miss Alex. Do you still have time?
Sure,
All
let's
right.
let's
We have
because
from Miss
that's
Chance.
yeah.
Miss Alex, Miss Joy, any advice for future moms like me? Yan.
Wow, walang Miss Jansa.
Miss Chance.
Miss Jans,
Yeah.
gusto mo ba ng mangga? Mangga at bagoong.
Durian, Miss Jans?
I think for me, Miss Jans, parenting, there's no courses that you can take when it comes to parenting. You know, once that, I mean, for me personally, my both kids are not planned. You know, after getting married, I told my husband. My husband told me we're not gonna have a child and after 1 year. But then, you know, Aisel came, and then Sarah followed, and they're both not planned. But then once they were given to you, you know, once God has given to you these beautiful children, all just like what Miss Alex have mentioned, they all they need is love, love, attention. This we are very busy, especially this you know times. Um, Even whether you're a full-time mom, whether you choose to be a full-time mom, whether you choose to be working and leave your child in with a helper or with a grandparents, the same. It's still the same way. You know, just let them feel
Mhm.
love,
Yes. And be
giving your
kind to
love and
yourself.
attention to them.
Yes, I think that's a very good
Yes,
advice.
yes,
Be kind to yourself.
Kind to
Don't
yourself.
be too hard on yourself. Yeah, because you cannot give what you don't have,
Yes.
right?
yes, yes,
There's one
yes.
from Miss Phoebe Song. Any advice for working parents on homeschooling children with special needs?
Special needs.
Ah. Okay,
Oh,
that's
all
my
right.
cousin. Hello, cuz.
Hello, hello, cousin. Nakikasin ako, no? Hello, cousin. Any advice for working parents on homeschooling children with special needs? Actually, it's gonna be a totally separate topic because there's a
Yeah.
lot of ways. Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can there's a lot of ways you can do. Um, um, Basically, if you're working, it depends on who you leave your child with, or are you working from home? Because it's a matter of how are you going to set up your environment. All
Mm-mm.
right. So who are the people to be working directly with the children?
While you are at work.
Is there a therapist coming to your house to do the session, or um, or you know like are they being sent to a certain center to do the to additional learning support? um it's actually a very big question.
Yes,
Yes,
it
it's
is.
actually it's broad.
Quite,
Very
yeah,
broad.
quite
But then,
a challenging
it,
question.
yeah,
But
uh, but it's the same thing actually. Whether these are if you're dealing with children with special needs, you just need to put that extra attention, you know, just it's the same love, attention, and care. You just need to put that extra love, extra attention, and extra care for them. It depends on what your concern, whether like setting up the environment, how are you going to the schedule of how are you going to schedule your homeschooling with the special needs. And basically it depends also on you know um what are you currently working with your children. Yeah, so yeah, so maybe you could message me, you can PM me.
yes, I'll give
Yeah,
you the number of
Yes,
Miss Joy
Miss Joy
later.
is
So we have
offering
a wonderful.
a
yeah,
free advice, free
yeah.
consultation.
Yes,
And this is actually the reason why we're having this is to get a support from each and every one of us, whether you're dealing with
correct.
yeah, whether you're dealing with the typically developing children, dealing with children with special needs. This is what we need, you know, the support coming from parents, from different mothers and fathers and caregivers, teachers, and you know, yeah. So this is what we so yeah. So just PM me. I'm I'm looking forward to meeting
PM
you.
is the key. Yeah, probably Miss Joy,
PM
you
is
will have another session according to Miss Jans. There will
a
be a next
separate
topic,
session.
next session. But I just
Yeah.
want to share about one good point. There is one, Miss Jans asked, right, how, what any advice for future moms like me? And then Miss Len actually said this remark saying that Miss Jess, your mother instinct will come out naturally. Just be patient to yourself and trust the wonderful journey of motherhood. It's
Correct.
actually very true. Do you know that? Did you know that for parents like us, right? Did we get any formal training to be parents? Actually, no, right? When we got married, then we have our children. There's really no formal education to
It's
become
not
a
part of
parent.
the course that we took from college. There's no.
Yeah, exactly. But for example, if you want to become a pilot, definitely you need to train
Yes.
yourself, right? How to
Yes.
fly those aircraft. If you want to become a nurse, you also have to be licensed, right? If you want to become a doctor, you need to be certified as a doctor. If you want to become a lawyer, and so on and so forth. But as parents, there's no certification whatsoever. Yeah. So I think it's definitely more of a lifelong learning process. Yeah, as parents, our learning will never end. Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, we will always learn with our children as they grow up. Yeah, so yes, Miss Phoebe said this session is actually very helpful for parents. So thank you so much, Miss Phoebe, and thank you so for our wonderful speakers. And we also have Miss Apple Obias saying, wonderful to hear you, ladies. Yes, thank you so much for all the appreciation. We are really
Thanks.
happy that you like the session and you're learning from our speakers tonight. Okay, so how do we wrap this up, ladies? How do you want to
Yeah.
wrap this up?
Okay, for children, start them young. And start them young to learn with positivity and to learn from the heart. So that's how I want to wrap this up. Miss Joy?
Same. Ayun naman, ayun naman, isip same na lang. Hindi. Um,
Miss Joy, you
just
always make me laugh.
just like yeah, just like what we've been for the last, this is the fifth series, diba, of our webinar.
Yeah.
It's like the same, the last four series of this Tuesday night live webinar. No, we always mention parents to be a model to our students. I mean, to our children. So be a model. So whatever you want, I mean, whatever you want your child to learn, um always try your best. I mean, definitely it won't be 100%, it won't be 100% of the time, but we try our best to be a model to our children, to practice what we preach. Just like now, for example, it's difficult for us to mentioning everything about positivity, whereas we also at times become very ano ba yun, mainit ang ulo. We're not in the mood to deal with the children, right? We're not in the mood like, just, we really want our time.
You want
So
to
it, it's not an excuse, but it's normal. But then of course we just try our best to 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 be a model. Just last one, just like what I've read from one book, we the parents are the first image of Jesus Christ to our children. So Jesus Christ is perfect. Of course, like we will never be as perfect as Jesus Christ, but we can be Jesus to our children. So since we have that opportunity for our children to witness the moment they recognize us as a parent, they recognize us as a parent, then be a Jesus to them. You know, uh, be kind, be loving, and that's definitely what they're gonna learn, and they will not depart from that. Start them young.
Wow, that's
start
so
them young.
heartwarming. Yeah, start them young, be the model to our children, and be the Jesus to our children. Wow. For me, my takeaway is if you want them to be positive, then shower them with your unconditional love, and
Yes,
everything will fall into place.
yes, po.
Yeah. So, with a heart, there will be positivity in the mind as well. A positive heart, positive mind.
And
Wow, there's so many learnings. Yeah. So, Miss Alex, Miss Joy, thank you so much for
Thank
sharing all those
you.
wonderful pointers, wonderful practical ways. I've learned so much. I will try to apply it to all my three children starting tonight.
Miss Alex,
Yeah.
I'll be applying it soon.
And Miss Joy, you will have
Dinah,
your next topic.
Miss Dinah, thank you for having me here. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be in front of the camera again.
This time as a speaker, as a designated speaker. But yeah,
Yes.
truly, I am so blessed, yeah, to be part of your Tuesday night. And, to be learning with fellow mothers like you is always a happy experience. Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
we hope that all those parents out there and even the future parents, you have learned something from us. And please remember to tune in to HFSE TV and follow HFSC International School. And please like and follow HFSC Young
Young
Starters Facebook
starters.
page. Yes,
Yes.
please check it out. In fact, Miss Alex and Miss Joy, they are so busy providing or facilitating the bridging program, right? Miss Joy and Miss Alex. So,
Yes.
yes. So we hope to see you around and we hope to see you in HFSE.
Thank you. Thank
God
you,
bless
Daddy.
everybody. Good
God
night.
God
bless.
bless.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good evening. Enjoy your dinner, everyone.